and welcome back to Propulsion Lab at Devoxx France 2024, coming to you live from Paris. And now with me I have two Barbies. Hey, Lætitia and forgot the name, and Karen, of course. Thank you very much for joining. This is all very, very interesting. So tell me all about it. What's going on?
You know the Barbie movie
Of course we know the Barbie movie.
August. And it was very impactful, even though there's nothing new in the movie. But I found out that a lot of people learned things that I already knew, and it made me realize that we were doing things wrong when we were trying to address the problem of not enough women in IT, because the main problem was people didn't see there was a problem. So we decided that we will explain what we are living on a day-to-day basis to explain why most women don't want to go to IT.
So, as a man, I don't think there is... No, I'm just kidding. I know there is a problem, but I would love to hear a couple of examples that you mentioned in your talk.
So because we're database people, there were obviously lots of facts and figures in the talk, including 7 pages of references at the end. So I do invite people to go and check those to find all the figures. But things like 56% of women leave the tech industry 10 to 20 years into their careers, which is double the rate that men leave the tech industry.
Okay, I didn't know that. Why?
There are many reasons. Some of it is that women don't necessarily have the right benefits available in the workplace that can help them. Some of it's the male-dominated culture in various workplaces.
Also, there are things like, I've heard twice in my career in different companies, people say, we tried hiring a woman for that tech role, but she was not good, so we won't hire a woman anymore. Yes, it does happen.
Okay, this doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
This is just weird. I'm trying to think about the other way around. We tried to hire a man for this. He wasn't good, so we never try another man for this position. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. That's not very smart people, I guess.
And there are, the microaggression you have every day with stereotypes, like people when new colleagues, when they come to me, they talk about my family, my children, which is fine, but they don't do the same when they try to reach out to new male colleagues.
Because they kind of expect that family is what you care about, and that's kind of the default topic of conversation. And with men, they're going to talk about like golf and tech, and yeah, I completely get where it comes from, obviously, and I also realize that it's obviously wrong. But here is my question: how can we really do better? But for sure, we know that I know a lot of people that want to do better. But it's not easy, because one of the things is it's kind of it's years and generations of behaviors that are ingrained in us, and it's not very easy to change. So how can we change it without just going into this gender war of like, hey, if you're gonna ask me about family, I will like be upset with you and will never want to talk with you again? Because I don't think that does any good. There should be better way.
So we talked in our presentation about the things that we can do. There's no magic bullet. And as you say, it's years and years of conditioning. But what we talked about was some of the things that we can do to encourage girls and young women to pursue a tech career, giving them encouragement, giving them positive feedback, giving them role models. So making sure that we do everything we can to get young women into tech in the first place, and then some of the things that we can all do as a community for example, speaking at tech conferences and providing role models and mentorship and things like that to encourage people to stay in tech.
I would, about the family conversation, I would say that the first conversation you should have with new colleagues, whatever their gender, should be about what they can do, their skills, what they did before, and so on. And after, when you're more familiar with them, you can ask about their family.
Yeah, no, that's a natural thing to do, I would say, right? Because the first conversation, it's about what you're going to do on a day-to-day basis together. Yeah, it makes sense. Now, I wanted to ask you, so being involved with conferences and organizers and being on program committee, I see the drive and the effort to introduce more diversity and to actively pursue and find good representation of minorities in speaking, especially. And I see this effort, and obviously Devoxx France is one of the examples of conferences that I think do a very good job in that. What about the rest of the industry? Are we getting better in not only in the limelight of conference talks, but also in development teams, in IT, and in the industry in general?
So some of the things that we looked at were the number of women speakers at Postgres conferences, because we both are in the Postgres world, and there has actually been a significant improvement over the last 10 years. And the graph that I showed in the presentation is based on best guess of gender, based on knowing the speaker or guessing, because unfortunately we don't collect the information that we need to track whether or not we're getting better.
Then we just guess by names and by appearances and by that. Well, for an approximation of statistics, it should be, I guess, good enough, and to see upward trend, of course. So yeah, no, I agree with you that the conferences do get better. How about the rest of the industry? How about the development teams, the IT in general? Are we making the similar progress, or at least some progress at all?
The problem with that question is that it takes some effort. Even having a lineup with more female speakers takes an effort, because most of the time, even they are not aware there's a CFP call for paper, or their company won't sponsor them, or they don't think they have something to say. So we are doing mentorship of that. Into companies, it also takes effort, because we know we are all biased because of society. That's how it works. So we need people to understand that. And one of my friends, she's a manager and she's hiring. What she did is she asked the HR person to give her any female CV she gets, whatever the content, whatever she's saying about it, so that there's no bias. And any woman that was submitting her candidacy to the job would get at least the first interview.
Yeah, no, this is actually a good practice, right? And again, it's all about attention, like paying attention and making an effort. It's the same with conference speakers, right? When we are on the program committee, we will go and seek actively and approach women and ask, do you want to speak? And it will be before even sorting through the rest of the candidates that came, that will be predominantly male for the obvious reasons. And I guess there are good recruitment techniques that can help. What else? What else can we do? And I think we spoke with Angie about the same topic just like 15 minutes ago. And I try to understand, and it's a honest question, how can we do something when we are already like in the industry, in the adult industry, and we are hiring people who are graduates from universities and colleges? The pipeline is affected by the conditioning from a very young age. In the end of the day, as an organization, I don't have the equal pool of men and women to select from. And this affects my ability to represent equally. I think that it's a real problem. Maybe you will tell me that it's not. And if it is, what can we do to fix the pipeline issue, which on the first sight looks like it's out of our hands?
So this pipeline issue, I'd say that we won't fix it overnight. We need to work with the younger generation and with the association that Angie talked about, YISO. We are delivering workshops as young as kindergarten to educate to about equality and so on, so that they can know they are allowed. For example, I think I'm a feminist, and I have two daughters. I tried not to put any stereotypes into my daughters, but during COVID, my youngest one watched a movie on Netflix, and then it was not about that. The story was not about that, but the young boy met a young girl who was a complete fan of dinosaurs, and then my little one exclaimed, "Oh, girls are allowed to love dinosaurs." I said, "Of course you are allowed," but she. Regarding what she's seen around her in her school and so on, she thought girls were not allowed
Oh my
to
God.
love dinosaurs.
Oh my God. This is very profound. Yeah.
So as you said, that there is a pipeline issue, but it's also very similar to the issue with the selection committees, where we know when we're on a selection committee, we will get fewer submissions from women. So we make the effort to go out before the selection process to encourage those. So it's one of the things that we can do as recruiters is to go out and actively encourage women and write job adverts, certainly in a way that encourages women to apply for those jobs.
That's another thing. You can have career coaches and agents, and some headhunters are specialists in minority hiring. And that's a way to improve yourself in your hiring process, so that maybe later you won't need them, but they can help you make it better. Also, even it's a problem to the pipeline is a problem. It's also a problem to retain the women you already have in your company, and then you will have to work on your company culture.
And here you have no excuse.
Yes.
And this is, I think that's a big deal, because I really think that the pipeline is used as excuse, but it's also a real issue. But retaining, that's completely on you, right? That's completely on the company themselves. Then there is no excuse of anything. And this is as important and as finding the talent and hiring them.
Yes, and sometimes it's not something that I know a lot of companies with very toxic company culture, but there are people that are trying to do things right.
Of course.
But we know that 90% of women are impacted by imposter syndrome, and managing people with imposter syndrome does not work the same way that people without imposter syndrome. For example, you have to give positive feedback regularly, so that they might build more self-confidence. And if you don't, they might burn out because they will overachieve and overwork, and then it will also impact their self-esteem.
Yeah, it's a self-feeding.
Yeah.
It's a self-feeding system. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it makes sense that it requires more attention to what's going on, and you need to be aware in order to do it successfully. Yep, makes sense. I learned. Thank you very much. It was very, very interesting, and I encourage all of you to go to the resources and check all the studies that you mentioned, and that for sure is enlightening for all of us. Thank you very much. And our next interview is coming right up. Stay tuned for more of this excellent content in Build Propulsion Lab at Devoxx France 2024. Thank you and bye-bye. That was excellent.